Good morning, you're watching Businessworld Live. I'm Dani Laurel.
And I'm Jess De Los Santos. Here are the biggest stories to kickstart this trading day, Wednesday. NCR mayors unanimously want Metro Manila to downgrade to Alert Level 1 by March 1st.
The government plans to settle its debt with the Bangko Sentral. That's before President Duterte finishes his term in June.
And how will the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia affect the Philippines? Economists warn this may derail our economic recovery.
Citicorp REIT sizzles in its market debut, and there may be more investor excitement to come. That's as the newcomer announces plans to inject new solar assets annually. We begin our broadcast with Finance Chief Sonny Dominguez saying that the government plans to clear its debt with the Bangko Sentral by June or before President Duterte ends his term.
Secretary Dominguez said this is the initial step in their consolidation plan, which they will pass on to the next administration. Back in December, the government settled some 540 billion pesos in provisional advances it borrowed from the BSP. For this year, the Bangko Sentral's loan program to national government has been trimmed to 300 billion pesos. The DOF is looking to further bring down the borrowing volume moving forward as it expects revenue collections to rise and shoulder the bulk of state spending. Under the consolidation plan, the agency is also looking into taxes that could pay for the country's mounting debt due to the pandemic. Dominguez says LGUs should effectively collect revenues from the wealthy through improved real estate valuation. The Philippines ended 2021 with an outstanding debt of 11.73 trillion pesos, over 60% of the country's GDP. Now, the Metro Manila Council has unanimously decided to recommend downgrading the National Capital Region to Alert Level 1 that's starting March 1st. This was confirmed by the Council's chairperson, Parañaque Mayor Edwin Olivares, in an interview with Radio 5 this morning. But industry players are flagging concerns on the transport situation should the NCR ease COVID-19 restrictions. Camille Samonte reports.
The country only logged over 8,000 new COVID cases yesterday, the lowest single-day tally for this year prior to the Omicron surge, as majority of the country has been placed under Alert Level 2 until February 28. Many businesses are now preparing for the shift to Alert Level 1. If that shift happens, it will increase current capacities of existing establishments and will allow many other industries to reopen. But industry players are raising concerns over the country's transportation situation, particularly with respect to the implementation of health protocols in public transport.
The transport is a very key concern. And also the protocol cross-border. There are areas wherein their level may be different from the NCR Level 1. So how do you deal with that? You cannot bring in commuters and at the cross point ask them to disembark and then take another ride.
Some jeepney drivers admit that they are now filling up their jeepneys to maximum capacity, even if we are still in Alert Level 2. Many of them have removed their plastic barriers as well.
No choice kami, mahal ng pila tapos diesel. Kung mag-a-adjust kami na wala kami kikitain. Minsan tinatanong ko sila, lahat naman minsan nagpapakita na rin sila ng kuwan. Kahit di mo ako nagkukusa na rin sila.
Yung sa atin naman importante lang yung face mask natin, number 1. At kailangan may alcohol tayo. Fully vaccinated naman lahat po yung mga sakay ko kasi bibihira naman po lumabas ng wala na full vaccinated po. Tulad po ako, lagi nakasabit po yung sa akin.
Many commuters are in favor of the de-escalation, especially since many of them are returning to on-site work.
Okay lang siguro kasi bumababa naman na eh. May tao pa rin pero wala naman tayo magagawa mo eh. Hirap kasi ang buhay. Pag pumapasok po kami, hirap kami makasakay kasi pinipigilan nga yung mga sasakyan na magpuno. Kaya pag minsan late kami.
The DILG, on the other hand, is concerned about the possible scenarios once local campaigning starts on March 25.
Kailangan po nating pag-isipan yan ng mabuti dahil para po sa amin sa DILG, nababahala po kami dito sa ating campaign period. No? Napakahirap po kasi mag-implement ng minimum public health standards sa panahon ng kampanya. At ito pa naman, March 25, magsisimula pa yung local campaign period. So sa tingin po namin, pagpasok ng local campaign period, it will be much more difficult for the department, the Philippine National Police, and of course, COMELEC, to enforce the minimum public health standards.
The government is also looking to hit an 80% vaccination rate for senior citizens before shifting down to Alert Level 1. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
All right, Dan, from rally to sell-off to rally to sell-off again, moving with the alert levels. Give us a lowdown on which way the stocks are swinging this morning. Ano na ba talaga?
You know what, Jess? It was supposed to be, expected that it would jump because of this alert level 1 being imminent, but it seems that we may have already jumped, ahead of that announcement, because take a look at that. We are opening in the red this morning, down by a hefty 1%. So a lot of, profit taking this morning. And just a quick peek at which ones are our movers. JG Summit, the biggest loser this morning, down by 0.1%. But take a look at that. Only 3 actually sitting out this sell-off. Quite surprising. But there's also a lot of other issues on the table. Of course, geopolitical risk, as you mentioned, swinging between gains and losses, not just in the Philippines, but one of the worst sell-offs as well yesterday globally, wherein we were against the tide and we're gaining. So we might just be catching up there. But there is one stock, of course, that is still in everyone's radar, and that is C-REIT. And that had already soared 11.4% during that debut yesterday. And take a look at that, still on the uptrend, already up by 1.8% just this morning. We're already at 2 pesos 89 centavos. They IPO'd at 2 pesos and 55 centavos. Now, this may have also something to do with the fact that they have just announced that they will be injecting assets annually. This year, they will be getting 2 parcels of land there in Bulacan and South Cotabato, using, of course, the proceeds of that IPO, which was 6.4 billion pesos. But they did mention that they need around 70 billion pesos, Jess, medyo malaki, for their 5-year plan to build 1,500 megawatt capacity. So from 6.4 billion, they need 70 billion. Now, PSE President Ramon Monzon said that 19,400 investors subscribed to this IPO. You had reported earlier in the banner that Finance Secretary has been encouraging people to invest, not just in the real estate industry, Jess, but generally in clean energy firms. And speaking of that, let's take a look at one in particular, Solar PH Nueva Ecija. That is pulling back down by a hefty 2% after it had already slumped yesterday during the debut. And this, according to PhilStock's Claire Alviar, investors in solar may actually be shifting their investments towards the C-REIT. So that might have affected it. And they also said that this might actually be affecting the other types of REITs in the industry. Here you can see here the different REITs that we have. And she does mention, however, that the C-REIT may not go beyond 3 pesos, as this would be the level wherein the dividend yield of Citicorp REIT will just be at par with the other existing REITs already in the market, Jess.
Monetary Board member Felipe Medalla says policy reforms continued by the next administration will likely help the country keep its investment-grade credit ratings despite the higher debt burden. Recall that last week, Fitch Ratings retained its BBB credit rating for the Philippines. Medalla believes one of the reasons why the credit rating has reached this level is because of what he describes as tremendous continuity in both monetary and fiscal policy between administrations. Fitch, however, kept its negative outlook due to the country's medium-term growth trajectory and hurdles to bringing down debt. A negative outlook means the country's rating could be downgraded in the next 12 to 18 months.
Now, the Board of Investments is inviting more Taiwan investors to enter the Philippine market. DOI Managing Head and Trade Undersecretary Seferino Rodolfo said the door is fully open to Taiwan companies, with the Philippine economy picking up momentum in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Rodolfo added that the business climate is set to improve. That's following the passage of several economic bills. He also encouraged Taiwan companies to jointly develop and process minerals needed to fill the gaps in the value chain for electric vehicles. The BCDA reports 15 Taiwan companies have located in New Clark City, which is generating nearly 5,000 jobs and accounting for over $200 million worth of investments.
The number of registered deaths in the country rose by over 35%, while births fell by 19% as the pandemic drags on. Preliminary data from the PSA shows that deaths last year reached almost 830,000, climbing by more than a third from the 600,000 in 2020. Registered births, meanwhile, declined by almost a fifth to 1.2 million in 2021. That's from 1.5 million the year before. In a separate report, the PSA says ischemic heart diseases were the leading cause of deaths in the country, with some 125,000 by end November. COVID-19 deaths totaled over 97,000.
Economists say the Russia-Ukraine crisis may derail the recovery of the Philippine economy. UANP senior economist Sid De Rosa said the continued crisis in Ukraine may spook investors and prompt them to flee developing countries like the Philippines for safe havens. And with Russia's invasion of Ukraine likely to boost oil prices, RCBC chief economist Mike Ricafort said this might cause higher inflation, which in turn would slow down economic recovery. Union Bank chief economist Carlos Asuncion added that a prolonged conflict will stall any upbeat growth momentum. For now, Malacanang said it is preparing for any and all eventualities in Ukraine.
Pausing for a quick break. After that, more Filipinos sought insurance products in 2021.
More of that and other stories when Businessworld Live returns. Stay with us.
And you're still watching Business World Live here on One News. I'm Jess De Los Santos.
And I'm Danny Laurel. The insurance industry's contribution to last year's GDP likely surpassed record figures.
The Finance Department reports that a larger percentage of the population sought insurance products last year. The industry's share to GDP already increased to over 2% by the third quarter of 2021. That's from just about 1.6% in 2017. The Insurance Commission also says the industry's net income grew by over 34% in 4 years as of the third quarter of last year. Now, to talk more about this and to discuss his outlook on the insurance industry, we have on the show attorney Martin Loon. He is the president and CEO of Coco Life, the biggest Filipino-owned insurance company and the first ISO-certified Filipino life insurance company. Good morning, attorney Loon. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Jess. Good morning, Daniela. And good morning to all of your viewers. Thank you for having me this morning.
All right, so picking up from what the Insurance Commission said, based from what we reported earlier, industry's net income and gross premium slowed down at the start of the pandemic, but experienced a rebound, at least in the third quarter of 2021. What do you think caused that turnaround, and was that also the case for Coco Life?
Yes, I think we've experienced a similar growth with Coco Life, and I think it's because people appreciate the value of insurance more today after the pandemic. I think that more and more people are getting to realize the value of having insurance today. In our experience, we've seen that 66% of our policyholders are below 40 years old. So a lot of younger people are beginning to see the value of insurance. And I think it's also because of the pandemic. No? A lot of people realized the certainty and the security insurance gives you, especially during uncertain times. And in our experience alone, we've catered to over $1 billion worth of COVID-related claims, both for health and life. And I think it's something that helps make people realize the value of insurance.
All right, attorney, quite an optimism here, bullishness really from the Finance Department and from the Insurance Commission, at least for the year end 2021. Do you see that optimism extending this year, and will the declining cases of COVID-19 somehow slow down take-up of insurance products?
Well, I think a huge factor in the growth of the industry is really the maximization or the enhancement of our technological tools for selling and for introducing insurance to the public. I think because of the pandemic, technology has been maximized. No? I mean, it's the digital and cyber workspace and digital space has helped us communicate the value of insurance to the public in a much more efficient way. And because of that, we've reached more and more people are beginning to see the value of insurance and beginning to see the benefits of having insurance, no, both for health and for life. So I think that factor has contributed a lot. Digitalization and our increased presence in the cyberspace, people having more access to information. I think that has been one of the most pivotal things that helped us increase our sales and increase public awareness on the importance of insurance.
Okay. Sir, this is Danny jumping in. You already mentioned how the COVID-19 pandemic reshaped the industry landscape. But tell us, how are the insurers adapting to these changes? For sure, you were already on the path to digitalization. For sure, these trends were merely accelerated. But do we have what it takes to really come with these trends? And are these trends here to stay, especially as we're now reopening? Do we still need these types of digital remote products instead of the traditional ones wherein you really meet the people? That was really the main of insurance. You really have a personal relationship with with your insurance officer. So how are these trends shaping, especially the way that Coco Life is doing it?
I think the trends are here to stay. I think we will continue to experience more advancements in technology, and along with these advancements, we will also experience an evolution of how we do business and how we do things. We have to remember that even before the pandemic, no, all of these technological tools have been available for everybody, and it was only accelerated, as you've said, during the pandemic. That is very true. And I think the acceleration will continue even after the pandemic because we've seen how convenient and how efficient things are when we maximize the use of technology. Technology will be here to stay. It will continue to improve. It will continue to evolve. And as it does, the public will also continue to benefit from the advancements of technology, and with those advancements, insurers like Coco Life will be able to introduce our products in a more efficient, in a more effective way to the consumers. It's really the access to information that will help people realize the value of insurance. We did not have as much, for Coco Life, for example, we did not have as much digital cyber presence 5 years ago as compared to today. But the moment we start to have our presence felt by the market because of the access that people have to technology today, then they begin to realize the value of insurance. It's really about making people aware, letting people understand the value of our products and services, and people will find a way to obtain them. So the advancements in technology is happening in a very rapid pace. And I think we have to keep up with these advancements, and they will help us boost our sales. They will help introduce our products. They will help people gain access to our products in a more efficient way. So we're hoping, and I think I'm also very optimistic that these advancements in technology, as accelerated by the pandemic, will be able to encourage and help deliver to more people the value of our products and services.
Okay. Sir, in terms of Coco Life's performance, of course, on the one hand, like you mentioned, the people are jumping into the insurance bandwagon finally, diba? We've been waiting for that. But on the other hand, you've had to reimburse claims related to COVID. You already mentioned, I think 1 billion was that figure. How did this affect your performance last year? And how is it going to be looking like moving forward? Are COVID-related claims or these things that we never anticipated before going to be a bigger chunk in terms of when you calculate the bottom line and the risks? We don't know the risks, another surge, another lockdown. I mean, how has this changed the way you package the products and especially how consumers are receptive?
Of course, we take all of these things into consideration when we create our products. We look at the profitability of our products. You need to have a profitable business to continue the business. And in the past 2 years, we've experienced the best, in terms of our net income and premium incomes, only because we were also very efficient in the use of our resources. I think that technology has played a big part in helping us become more efficient, in the use of our resources. And that also played a big role in maximizing the benefits and the profits of our business. As I've said, insurance, more than a business, insurance is really a service to the community, a service to the Filipino people. People come to you when they lose a loved one. People come to you when they get sick. People come to you when they need extra cash or when they retire. So it's really a service. And when you focus on the service aspect of the business, all of these profits and all of these premiums will start coming in. When you have a satisfied consumer base, they will start talking about your business. They will start talking about the products that you sell by word of mouth. And they will start recommending you to friends, to colleagues in the industry. And all of this will play a huge role in expanding the business and making it even more profitable, despite servicing a lot of your policies. For me, sometimes, of course, as someone in business, you tend to worry when you service a lot of these policies, meaning maraming claims, right? But it's also a good reminder that you exist for something bigger than the business. You exist for something bigger than profits. You really exist to to serve the community and to serve the country. And when your consumers, when your policyholders realize that that is the primary agenda of your business, they help promote the business for you. And I think it's a good way to do business. The service you render to the community will be the same thing that will propel your business and make people talk about you even more and make people purchase your products even more. So I think it is a mutually beneficial relationship between the company and the policyholders.
Given all that, what's your outlook for this year for Coco Life? What's in the pipeline?
Well, we intend to maximize technology. We intend to enhance our presence in the digital space, to introduce our products to even more consumers, to even more to have our policyholders purchase even more products. No? I think that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to introduce insurance to more and more people because of the benefits and value that people get from it. As I've said, it's a service. At the end of the day, the insurance business is really a service. It's a service for the people, for the public. And the more people have access to it, the more people know about it, the more they'll be able to purchase your policies, your products, and your services. And to me, I'm very excited. Technology has been advancing in a very rapid pace. I think the industry, and not just Coco Life, perhaps even our counterparts in the industry, have been maximizing these advancements, and I hope that it will be very positive for the industry. It's not difficult to know about insurance today. People are on their phones or on their gadgets 24/7. Not 24/7, but a big part of the day is spent with their gadgets. So they'll have access to information on how to obtain insurance, on the benefits of insurance, on which companies they can partner with to secure their futures or to prepare them for these unexpected or uncertain events. So we plan to do that. We plan to continue using technology to really make people aware of the value of insurance in people's lives. And we plan to use technology to further improve our servicing of these policies. It becomes easier for the consumer to utilize the services of our company with the use of technology. And I think that's the way to go. We cannot regress. We cannot go back to the way we used to do business, perhaps in the 80s and the 70s. We have to move forward. And technology is a great tool for us to advance and evolve into the insurance company that we want to be. And as for Coco Life, we really want to be a world-class Filipino insurance company. This is one of the things we're really proud of. No? We're Filipino-run. We're very Pinoy. Pinoy na Pinoy po yung Coco Life. And yung malasakit, the empathy, the care we have for our consumers is very Filipino. And it's something we want to enhance. No? I mean, more than the technological advancements, it's really the core of the business, the service aspect of the business that we intend to improve even more. And I think if you match that with technology, you match that with the trends of today, I think there's no way to go but up for the company and for the industry as well.
All right, so the pandemic once again accelerating the use of technology for the industry, and high level of optimism there for Coco Life and the rest of the industry. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Attorney Martin Loon, President and CEO of Coco Life. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
And that's a first look into the business day this Wednesday, February 23, 2022. I'm Jess De Los Santos.
And I'm Danny Laurel. Mask on, wash hands, stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.